What if I tell you video editing is not difficult?
Really, nigga?
And what if I tell you you can start editing your videos in less than 30 minutes?
That's simply not possible.
Yes, you can. Whether you're an amateur, a total beginner, or you've never opened an editing program before, in this video, I'll be taking you from a beginner to creating your first video inside Premiere Pro. And I'll be doing all of this within 30 minutes. Let's jump in. This video will be a comprehensive guide to video editing for beginners. In this video, we'll be covering all the major aspects of video editing to help you master the basics. Whether you're a filmmaker, you're a content creator, you're just someone out there looking to learn video editing from scratch, this video will help you get started. Also, in this video, we'll be covering major aspects such as trimming your clips, importing footages, creating sequence, working with sounds. Also, at the end of this video, I'll be giving you a bonus tip, so stick around for that. Without wasting much time, let's get started. Right here in Premiere Pro, this is the Premiere interface. When you first open Premiere Pro, this is what you'll be faced with. To create a new project, we'll simply click the New Project tab. It opens up. This place I could name my project. Let's say Premiere Pro Guide. Now this is where I'm to choose where my project will be saved. This is very important because it helps organize your project also. Create a new project, a new folder, and I save it here. For more tips on this, check out my video where I talked about how to better organize your project in Premiere. Okay, so with that out of the way, we just simply create. This is the workspace for Premiere Pro. Yours might be different depending on what version of Premiere you're working with. For a better understanding of this workspace, you could check out my video I made, which is specially dedicated to workspace on Premiere Pro. But for this video, we'll just do a quick rundown of the workspace. This is your project tab. This is where you can import your footage. This is where you do all your files. This is where all your files are imported. This is your timeline where you do all your rough work, you do your edits. This is the tab where you see all your edited works here. Whatever shows up here in the program tab is what people will see when you export the video. This is your source tab or your preview tab. This is where you can preview clips before you bring them to the timeline. This is your effect control. You have your audio clip mixer, you have your metadata, so many other things that we won't cover in this video. If you come down here, you also see your tools by your tools section. These are all the tools available in Premiere. Next off, we'll be importing footages. One thing to note is this: there are different ways to do things inside Premiere Pro, the same way with other editing programs. But for this beginner's guide, I'll be taking you on the very simple method. I promise you something at the end of the video, you should be able to edit your first video. So let's get right in. First off, in the project tab, I can quickly create a new bin. This bin helps me organize my footages. So first of all, I'll create a new bin. I call it footages. I create another bin. These bins are like folders, the way folders work in your system. This is the same way bins work here. I create another bin and name them audio. This is just a very simple setup for the sake of this video. Now to import footages, to import clips, one very simple method, you can just come to your Finder or your File Explorer if you're on Windows. Quickly locate where your footages are. I have mine here. I have the stock footages here. So I just click, drag, and import. Another method you could also do this is to come to the audio folder. You could simply double click or you right click, click import. Come to where you want to import your files. Could come to desktop, beginners, as I have audio. Could just select my audio files. And I simply import. Okay, after importing our footages, the next step will be to create sequence. What is a sequence? Sequence is simply the area you work, more like a space you have to function. You could create multiple sequences inside one project, but we'll discuss more on that in a different video. For this beginner's video, just have that in mind that a sequence is your work area, not your workspace now, but your work area. If you look at the Premiere interface, you discover that there's nothing functional here, nothing is working. This is what gets people most confused. I remember when I first opened Premiere Pro, I think that was the CS6 It was really confusing. This was what got me most confused because it's different from other video editing software that I started with, where you just bring your clip and you're good to go. You see everything and you just start up. This in Premiere, it's really, really different. I'll be showing you two ways to create sequence right here. You could come to this new item tab, or you could simply right click new item sequence, or you could come to file new sequence. Whichever method you feel comfortable with is fine. For me, I'll simply right click new item sequence. In this new sequence setup here, we have presets already. These are like presets kept. You could just choose one and start up with, or you could create yours from scratch. You could just simply come to change the editing mode to custom. You could change this where you change your frame rate or your frame size. So you can set it up to be HD. You can come here and name your sequence. Premiere, whatever you want to name your sequence. But guys, I won't be using this method. I will be showing you my favorite method. This method is useful if you already know the size of your footage. If your footage already carries the information of the sequence you want to create. Let's say your footage is already a full HD footage, is already in 1920 by 1080, and it's something you want to work with. Maybe the footage was shot in 24 frames and you want to work with 24 frames. If you need your video already contain this information, then you could use this method. You could simply come to the footage folder here, or the bin. I could right click. Let's see the information here. Properties. It's 1920 by 1080 and it's in 30 frames. So this is not bad to work with. So I could simply right click on the footage, come to new sequence from clip. Once I click it, it creates a new sequence with the information available for the clip. Now, if I come to this sequence here, sequence settings, you will find the information here are the exact information available for the footage. I use this method most of the time when I'm editing because most times I shoot what I want to edit. But be very careful when you're using this method. You need to identify your clips and be sure the informations on your footage are the exact ones you want to use. So with that created, I could simply click on this one, delete this one, and to also organize the project, I could just rename this project here. I could right click, come down, rename, or I could simply click on the name here and rename it to Premiere Pro Guide. What I like to do, I move this sequence from this folder where it is and move it back to the project folder or the project bin. I just click and drag to the project bin and drop it here. There's also an extra bin I create. I create the sequence bin. The sequence bin contains all the sequences I've created, all the sequences I will create in a project. Remember I told you could create more than one sequence. For this class, I will only be working with one sequence here. Over the years, one thing I've noticed is editors are very good and smart observers. What I mean is they spot every little difference. At this point in this video, something changed. Can you spot the difference? If you can, let me know in the comment section. Let's jump back in. Now, after creating the sequence, the next thing will be to bring our footage into the timeline. This is where the fun begins. This is where we'll start the main edit. There are different ways to import your footage to the timeline. I'm not talking about importing to the Premiere itself. Now I'm talking about bringing your footages from the bin to the timeline. To do so, let's just jump back into Premiere Pro. You could just click and drag the video into the timeline. This is one method. You could also let's come to a different video. I want to import this footage, but I don't want to import the entire footage. I want to import some selected parts. All I need to do is to come to the part I want to start from. Let's say I want to start from here. I could simply use my mark in and my mark out here. In the shortcut is I and O. I to mark in and O to mark out. So if I click I, I've marked in, it starts from here. I want to end it here while the movement is still on. At this point, I could simply mark out. If you click anywhere on this source tab and drag the video, you are importing both the video and the audio. Let me undo this. Let's say you want to bring in only the video without the audio. You could simply come to the video icon here, drag video only. We click, drag, and drop. Same with the audio. You could click only the audio, drag and drop. Now I'll quickly import other footages where we'll continue. Okay guys, I'm back. These are the footages we'll be working with. Next off, after importing the footage to the timeline, is when you now want to edit. Now basically understand the word editing. Editing is simply rearranging your footage, creating a nice piece from the raw clip you've been given, creating something interesting, creating something fun. Now this involves taking out some unwanted parts, putting together the interesting parts. That's what editing is all about. That's just it. It's as simple as that. Taking out the unnecessary parts, the error parts, and bringing in the part you need to create something nice, to create a masterpiece. Now to do that, let's also look at how to trim and cut your clips in Premiere Pro. If you come to the tools bar, there are different tools here. Now let me just do a quick overview of the major tools. We have your selection tool with the shortcut V. This tool is used to move your footages around. You can move things around Premiere. You could select and move things around inside Premiere Pro. You have your razor tool. This tool, like the name implies, razor, to trim things, to cut things. Now the tool we'll be using here, the major tool we'll be using here to cut the clips, to trim clips here, will be basically the razor tool. It has a shortcut of C. Let's say I play this video. I'm hitting the space bar. It's a shortcut to play the videos. This is I could also play from here. Now let's say I want to take out this beginning part of the video. I could simply select the razor tool and hit and just come to where I want to take out and click. Now look what happens. It has split this video into two. It split it from the point you selected. This is one video. Now this other video now starts from here. Now let's also say I want to take out the end of the video. I could simply select the razor tool and also click. That part becomes a separate part. So I could now do delete this part, or I could right click, clear, and it's off. Now that is one method of trimming clips inside Premiere. Now another way to also trim clips here in Premiere is this. If I move my mouse down to the clip, if I come to the edge of the clip, notice something. The icon change, which means I could drag forward and I could drag backward. So one method is I could simply click on the video, on the edge of the video, drag forward or drag inside. And I've trimmed the clip. I could drag forward, I could drag inside. That's another way to also trim your clips here in Premiere. Another way is using the shortcut. I come to this footage. Let's say I come to this footage. I want to trim this footage now. I could simply come, instead of selecting the razor tool, I could press the Command K or Control K if you're on the Windows. If you're on the Mac, it's Command K. If you're on the Windows, it's Control K. That's the default shortcut for cutting clips or for slicing clips inside Premiere. Let's say I've cut out all the parts of the footages I don't want, all the useless parts, and let me quickly bring them together before move over. I take out this part, I could simply just bring them close. Take out this part, I could bring them close. I take out this part. Another shortcut or another tip you need to know is this. Let's say instead of I want to bring this video to this, I want to delete this empty space. Instead of coming to click and drag, I could simply click inside this space here, press the delete key and it's off. Same thing happens here. Now I have all my clips lined up. Let me take out this audio here. To take out this audio, let's say you imported the footage with the audio, but at the end you don't need the audio. You could simply select it, right click, come down to unlink. Now they are separate. You could now delete the clip. Now that we have all of our clips set up, this will be the right time to add sound. Now you don't have to follow this in this order. You could decide to add your sound before adding your footages. It all depends on the method you find comfortable. But in this step, we'll be adding sound. We'll come to the audio bin we've created. Let me go through and see what I want to work with here. I want to select some part, but this place is showing everything. I want to zoom into this thing to go deeper into it, to see more details here. I could simply click here and zoom into the timeline, or I could use the shortcut of your plus and your minus key. I want the audio to start playing from this point here. Could mark in. Now I want it to end here. Could just click the audio. Now notice something. This video icon here is grayed out because this is just an audio clip. There's no video information available for it, so it's grayed out. So I could just click the audio, drag and drop on my timeline. I could stretch. Let's say I want different segment of the clip of the audio. I could still come to this other part. I want to start from here now. I could still come here, select to. I want to end it here. I'll still end it and bring it in. This is how I could select different parts, any part I want in the inside one footage or inside one audio. Come here, mark in, mark out, and have it. That is it. But for the sake of this video, I'll just take this off and lay this here. Now we'll have our audio playing here. Okay guys, I want to do one thing. This is a tip you could use. I want to do something. I want to cut these footages to align with the audio, where the beats are dropping in this audio. What I have to do is to look for where the beats drop in this audio. Another tip is you could also enlarge your audio tab here, or even your timeline. You could increase it. Now let's zoom into the timeline and see where the audios drop. Now I could move this clip here to start from where this audio starts. So we have a dark audio dropped here. I could cut this one off with the razor tool. I could simply bring this one back here, then bring the next clip to start from here. At this point, I'll speed up this clip while I cut them according to the beat. It's called cutting to the beat. I'll just speed it up and I'll see you guys after this one. I'm done arranging the clip, so let's play through and see what we have so far. Yo, guys, we're already having some very interesting footages here coming together to make a masterpiece. The editing is becoming fun at this point. If you're enjoying this video, do well to like, comment, subscribe, and also turn on your notifications so you could get notified when I upload new videos. Next up from here, we'll be adding transitions.